Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And people have awared me that Vince, aka V-Shred, aka V-Shrunk, has made a video about back development. Although in the video, he starts talking about back width, but in the title, it's about a shredded inner back. And the funny part for me is that no one warned me. They're like, yeah, Jason, go check this video out. No one warned me that it actually is a video that he pretty much just stole from ScottHermanFitness that he did recently that I actually covered and did an analysis of. So let me go ahead and put on my +5 hat of Speechcraft and let's talk about this. Because that's the funny thing for me. That's what's hilarious about it, is that as I'm watching this, I realized that Scott Herman just did a video on this, and I broke it down and agreed with it and said, yeah, this is what I do. It's what I've always done in my back training. You guys have watched me do pull-ups and chin-ups. You've watched me do hundreds and hundreds of them, right? Weighted pull-ups and chin-ups over the last year on camera at my home gym. You guys see all this stuff, and I do enough of them shirtless. You can see what my back is doing. So the point is that I've made is that I always train that way. That's how I train. Again, letting your scapula pull forward instead of keeping them retracted is actually really critical for back development. And again, people do note, like, wow, your back is actually bodybuilder size. Even though you're not a bodybuilder, your back is your best body part. Even for me as a power lifter, and a lot of it does have to do with the combination of the deadlifts and the way I perform things like rows and pull-ups and stuff. But yeah, I mean, not keeping your scapula retracted, not even caring about scapular retraction on back exercises for the most part, other than deadlifting, really is important. It's not important. It is that protraction of the scapula. But the funny part is that Vince doesn't do that. And it would be one thing if you see someone who actually in their own training and lifting and demonstrations does something, right? That they do something and then they make a video explaining, oh, this is a tip here. This is a trick, right? But he doesn't do it. And that's the take home. If anything, that's one of the things I laugh about. And like, what does I always tell you guys? You have V-Shred, and what is it that he does? He really struggles with back development, and he struggles with chest development. And I've broken down in videos why. Right? I've broken it down. It's his lack of full range of motion. And again, what did we cover the other day, last time I was critical of one of his videos? His only real body part that you can look at and see that's really well developed relative to everything else is his biceps. Notice when he does bicep training, he's all about the full range of motion. Like, you got to go all the way down, you got to go all the way up, right? He's really focused upon quality reps, full range of motion. When he does bench press, he's not. Like, he doesn't know how to perform the bench press. And he skips the entire bottom of the exercise. He doesn't get tight. He's loose and floppy on the bench, which will, again, reduce pectoral involvement. He doesn't retract his scapula, will, again, reduce pectoral involvement. Doesn't touch his chest, again, reducing pectoral involvement. Therefore, he has no chest. So essentially for him, the bench press turns into a delt and a tricep exercise. And what does he have? He has arms and shoulders. That's all he has. Same thing when you watch all his pull-ups and chin-ups. Like, he doesn't know how to deadlift, so we can just set that aside right now. Pull-ups and chin-ups. He doesn't go all the way down. And if you don't go all the way down, how are you going to pull your scapula apart? Your scapula are pulled apart in the last few inches, right? The last few inches, and then you get that stretch if you go all the way down till your elbows lock, right? That's when you really get that stretch. He skips the entire bottom of chin-ups and pull-ups, and accordingly, he doesn't have particularly good back development, particularly for someone with his amount of training history. But then this video comes out and he's going to discuss it as if it's something that he knows about and does. Well, he doesn't do it. And that is, again, the problem. But you know who just did a detailed video of this the other day? Scott Herman. And I did a whole analysis of that video. If you guys recall, I did an entire analysis of that video, and I actually agreed with Scott on this point, right? We're in agreement because it's what I do personally. But here's what I tell people on that. Here's what we talk about. I don't think of it as saying, hey, you need to actively pull your scapula apart. If you do the full range of motion, it's going to happen anyways. Again, that protraction versus retraction, the protraction is going to happen if you do the full range of motion. So we come back over to that point about internal cues versus external cues, right? External cues matter. And that's why for me is oftentimes for performance purposes, as a strength athlete, I focus upon bar paths. I focus upon the movement, not what you're feeling, because those things sort themselves out, right? They sort themselves out, and the research tends to support that. Compensatory acceleration tends to beat mind-muscle connection without focusing on mind-muscle connection. Even though mind-muscle connection, there's data on it showing that it does work for improving muscle fiber recruitment and muscle activation, it does. Compensatory acceleration will do the same thing, but it'll do it in every single muscle in the entire movement. Gives you the same benefits, if not more so. And that's based upon EMG data looking at muscle activation on things like bench press. So we know that's there. External cues matter. Well, external cues are doing the full range of motion of the exercise, right? Bar speed is an external cue. How hard you're pushing is an external cue. What you do with the bar is an external cue. In other words, we can talk about the bench press and we can talk about setting up, and we do need to talk about scapular retraction, but where you place the bar, where the bar touches on your chest affects the bar path. All right, we don't need to focus on tucking the elbows at the bottom. If you put the bar lower down, they tuck automatically. If you bring it to a certain point, your elbows, based upon your bar path, will drift out and do different things. Your bar paths and the movement patterns determine these things. Well, the same thing with pull-ups and chin-ups and rows. If you do the full range of motion, you come all the way out here, your scapula are going to protract. It's unavoidable. You just need to do the full range of motion. And it's those internal cues that cause people to do such, keep your shoulder blades together so you row like this. Like you're bench pressing. Well, that's silly. It's not helpful. You get less lat involvement by doing that. It's great for bench pressing. Great for bench pressing. Terrible for any sort of back work. So what do I tell people? Your scapular retraction, really the focus on that comes from your deadlifting. And you guys are deadlifting, right? You're deadlifting. Because if you're not deadlifting, I don't really know what you're doing with your life. I don't know why you're even bothering to train. That would resolve a lot of the weaknesses and problems that people have. Well, I need to focus on this for scapular retraction, deadlift, problem solved. Now you no longer need to worry about it because the deadlift has a stronger scapular retraction with more weight being put against those same muscles in that position than your rows and pull-ups do. It's simply more load in that position. Therefore, you're getting more benefit. But we come over to this, you've got V-Shred is pretending like he's been teaching this all this time, but he doesn't. And I promise you guys, he just made this video to copy Scott, right? Because ScottHermanFitness is a bigger YouTube, gets more traffic, therefore he copies it. Now, I just critique these guys and I talk about it, but we talk about them specifically, right? We don't need to steal their content. We either agree or disagree, right? You can review someone's video, and if you agree with them, that's not really stealing their content. You're just in agreement. If you disagree, you disagree. But in his case, V-Shred just straight up steals content. Like, he just looks at other people's videos and just remakes his own version of the same information and pretends like it's his information, his video, and never mentions them and just goes on about it as if he's an expert. But he's really not. Like, his knowledge of training is horrifically bad. And that's the funny thing. It's really obvious when you look at the business layout that actually Vince, from what I can tell based upon the info I have available, Vince actually isn't a YouTube owner per se. That's run by a company. Like, he's paid. He's a hired actor who's paid to do this channel. That's, again, my knowledge of the situation. So when you see these different YouTube personalities, there's a reason he's not up there doing a lot of lifestyle stuff and opinions, because he is just a model who's been paid because of his look. He's been paid to do these fitness videos, and they're scripted for him. They're scripted for him. But his actual knowledge of training itself is really bad, and it's very apparent when he's making the videos because he's more or less just following a script, and he's a pretty boy fitness model type, and that's what he is. And that doesn't mean you know a lot about training, because it's very clear he doesn't. He diets very strict, clearly does a lot of cardio, guy stays lean, but in terms of training knowledge, he doesn't have very much muscle size, like from actual real training. And that's fine. That's not everyone's goal. That doesn't have to be your goal. But it's also apparent that he doesn't do any ultra serious, hard training. And then it's also apparent with his knowledge of it. Like, he doesn't know anything about this stuff when he's talking. So again, he's basically following a script from a supplement and a fitness company that they're handing him, and he's pretty much a model on the channel. And that's my understanding of the situation. But it's comical because we can say, hey, Vince is stealing this stuff. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think that he is. I think the people who script it take other channels and they just look at their videos, say, okay, let's take Jeff Cavalier stuff, let's take Scott Herman stuff, and we'll just remake their video and we'll pimp it out here, and then we'll sell our products, because everything is a product placement. It's an advertisement. We sell meal plans, we sell macro plans, we sell workout plans, we sell supplements, right? And it's a company that is generating money off the ad revenue, and then they're selling products directly for their fitness company. So essentially, he's just a model who is the face of a company that's running a YouTube channel to sell products and, of course, to generate ad revenue. But it's an actual company. It's not actually Vince. He's pretty much just a paid actor, right? He's a paid actor on the channel who's a model and can get in front of a camera and speak. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.